Alright, we're going to actually go over something a little bit different here today than what you're used to seeing on this channel. After being a solo filmmaker for a number of years now, I've gone through some good times and bad, good setups and bad, and I think I've learned a thing or two about how to maximize my efficiency as a solo filmmaker. So that is what I want to share with you here today, to hopefully help you make some positive changes to help you maximize your efficiency as a solo filmmaker. So I'm going to break it down into 4 main categories for you here today. Your workspace, your gear storage, your gear organization for going on location, and your home studio. So let's start with your workspace, and more specifically, your desk setup. So I've tried a number of setups at my desk here for my monitor setup, and that was having just one monitor, getting an ultra-wide monitor, then having 2 monitors side by side, as well as having just one ultra-wide monitor with an iPad Pro beside it. But I've actually settled on having just my ultra-wide monitor with a TV on top of it. I use the TV as a secondary display when editing in Premiere Pro to preview my timeline as well as previewing footage on it. When I'm not editing, I use it as an additional space to throw up some notes, plans, and a browser window for research, and so much more. Sometimes I'll play YouTube videos up there while working, and when I want to take a break, I can easily throw on my favorite show or movie. To accompany the displays, I've got 2 Klipsch reference bookshelf speakers for all my audio needs. These have a fantastic sound and offer enough bass without having an added subwoofer. I may eventually add a subwoofer to the setup as well because I really do prefer having that extra boominess and oomph to my sound, but for now I really don't need it. The speakers are connected to the computer, so anytime I watch Netflix or anything else I want on my TV, I just drag the window up from the computer screen to the TV so I get the same good sound out of it all the same. Next, I've got a simple wireless Microsoft keyboard because I don't need anything fancy, and I have a Logitech MX Master 3 mouse because it's a really great mouse. I've also recently upgraded to a simple sit-stand desk from IKEA, which is huge for me. I've got a ton of back pain and back problems, so being able to stand up whenever I want to while I'm working at my computer has been absolutely amazing for me. Sitting for long periods of time at your desk is absolutely killer on the lower back and just your back in general, and I'm sure a lot of content creators and filmmakers suffer from back issues just like I do. So I would definitely recommend getting a sit-stand desk. And just remember, with everything I'm talking about here today, the key is to not focus on spending $1 million and spending a ton of money just to get a bunch of cool stuff just for the sake of it. So just remember to focus on what's going to work best for you without breaking the bank. Alright, so that just about wraps up my desk setup. So before I move on to the next category, let's talk about the other half of this room. As a filmmaker, I think it's important to be able to not only test your films and works on as many screens and devices as you can, but have a proper setup and space to enjoy your films on as large of a screen as possible. There's just nothing quite like watching your films or your works on a huge screen. So if you have the space for it, I always recommend getting a projector and a projector screen. As you can see, you don't need a huge room to be able to pull this off, as this room is only about 10 feet by 12 feet. Now, I know it's not necessarily attainable for everybody to get a mini home theater setup in their home or in their home office or home studio, so just getting as big of a TV as you possibly can fit in your space will also be great as well. So to quickly go over what I've got here, I've got a BenQ short throw projector, which allows me the freedom to not have to put it too far back, so this is great for smaller rooms. Next, I've got a screen that I've built out of some NDF boards and a screen fabric that I stretched over it from Carl's Place. This fabric is meant specifically for projector screens, so it's a great option if you want to save some money and make a screen yourself. My screen here is 110 inches, which is really immersive in this small space without feeling too big. Then I've connected it to an old receiver and a 5.1 surround sound system that I've had for years, and I'm all good to go. The reason I wanted this in my main workspace is because it allows me to work on my productions and then screen them all within one space. So going back to the idea of efficiency, having this all in one place ready to go makes things super quick and easy anytime I want to jump from editing to screening. So hopefully this setup right here helps give you inspiration for how you can set up your workspace efficiently. Next, I'm going to jump on over to your gear storage. Now, this is going to be a quick and simple one, but still important nonetheless. If you have some room in the same space as your workspace to put some shelving or some other storage options, I would absolutely do that because it is great to have everything all in one spot. But if you're like me and your room isn't that big, you're going to have to find a different spot to put all your gear. I'm lucky enough to have an unfinished basement space, and although it's not huge, I do have spots for some shelving down there, so I did throw a couple shelves up against the wall, and I stacked all my equipment in there properly. I put everything from my lights to light stands to cases to gimbals and so much more on these shelves. And keeping a shelving system organized with everything you need is super important so that you're not scrambling around anytime you need access to your gear. If you need to head out for a shoot, it's going to be important to have everything in one place and well organized so that you know where everything is. I've wasted a ton of time in the past by not having things well organized or not even knowing where things properly were, so this has been a huge part of helping make things much more efficient for me. I've even purchased a cheap label maker from Amazon for like 20 bucks and started labeling all my boxes and cases so that I know exactly what's what and where they are. And that takes me to the next category, and that is your gear organization for when you're going on location. I used to just grab all my individual items and just toss them in the car. and it was a disaster. I made a million trips to the car and I just dumped everything in my trunk or in my back seats. And this is a disaster of a system. It's not efficient, it's messy, it doesn't look professional, and it's just really not organized, and that is a great way to misplace things, drop things, or even break things. I used to even strap down my cameras with my seatbelts in the back seat so that my camera wouldn't go flying while I was driving, but it should have been probably in a protective case. So not to mention the fact that this is messy, it's disorganized, and it's just not a great system overall. It took forever to set up. It took forever to tear down once on location, and it took forever to repack my car, bring everything back home, and unload again at home. So this is not an efficient way to be operating. So I'm not sure why it took me this long to do this, but I bought a few storage boxes on wheels and a folding collapsible cart, and it has been a game changer. The two main cases that I use for my main camera rig and lenses have protective foam inside, and you can actually remove a bunch of squares of the foam to create a proper inset or insert for whatever you put inside. So as you can see, my camera fits nicely right in its own place so it won't slide around inside this case. So I've got my FX3 rig in the first case with my small Rode Video Micro microphone, an external hard drive to back up footage on the go, and up here I've got my top pounder for my camera rig. Down here I have my external monitor for my rig as well as a power bank for added power for my FX3, and off to the side here I have a spare battery for my FX3, a charger for my FX3's batteries, and 3 batteries for my monitor. And in the little back section here where the back of my FX3 rig is, I've added some cables I need for my whole rig and charger setup. In my second case, I have my 2 additional SLR Magic lenses, my 21mm and 50mm, my LensBaby Sweet 35, a macro adapter, which will convert any of my lenses to macro lenses, some extra SD cards for my FX3, some SD cards for my sound recorder, my Zoom H4n Pro sound recorder for when I need to record interviews or other sounds, and my Sennheiser MKE 600 shotgun microphone with a little shock mount adapter. These 2 cases are pretty much my go-to main equipment, and they're all organized beautifully. And like I've mentioned earlier, I've added little labels to the outside so I know exactly what's in each case to make things a lot easier for me. Then I've got this third case over here, which has a lot of little accessories such as extra batteries, USB cables of every kind, some twist ties and elastics, clamps, some small portable LED lights, and other things like extension cords, power bars, and other audio cables and accessories inside, as well as some extra diffusion material and some negative fill blankets. So these 3 cases have absolutely everything I need other than my main lights, light stands or C-stands, and tripod. But those are much easier to pack as is. I actually did a really big shoot last week, and it was the first time I've had everything set up in this way, and it was a super efficient way to get everything done. Let me tell you, loading up my car, unloading on location, setup, teardown, and loading the car back to get back home all took a fraction of the time it used to take when I would go on big jobs like this, on big shoots like this. So this was just absolutely amazing, and I'm just kind of disappointed with myself that I haven't done something like this sooner, but it's never too late to make these changes. So trust me, this is huge for maximizing your efficiency as a solo filmmaker. All right, and before I jump on to the last category, and that is your home studio setup, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about the clothes you've been seeing me wearing in this video here. They're from Cuts Clothing. And I know you might be thinking, why are you talking about clothes in a video about maximizing your efficiency as a solo filmmaker? Well, I will tell you exactly why. A huge part of maximizing your efficiency is also being very comfortable yourself, you as a person, to be able to be efficient and maximize your overall efficiency. So being comfortable, staying cool and dry, these are all very important parts of being able to do your job properly. If you're uncomfortable, if you're hot, if you're sweaty, if you're not feeling good, and looking good helps you feel good as well and feel professional, those are things that's going to really set you back when you're doing your job. So just hear me out here for a minute and you won't regret it. With the clothes from Cuts, I not only look good when having a meeting with clients or when shooting on location, but I'm also super comfortable and I stay cool and dry thanks to the awesome fabrics that these clothes are made of. As you can see, I've been outfitted from head to toe for all the different use cases, like wearing my hoodie and sweats when I'm editing at home, to wearing a nice polo or button-up shirt and joggers when having a meeting with clients, to wearing my tee or long sleeve tees with my joggers or shorts when shooting on location. Cuts really has me covered for all my needs as a filmmaker, and I really think you'll benefit from checking them out. If you're interested, you can head on over to the link in the description and save 15% off your entire order if you purchase anything. They have a lot of cool stuff that just came out for the fall, so make sure to check it all out. Cuts Clothing really is a big part of my life, both professional and personal, and I wouldn't be talking about them or promoting them to you if I didn't believe in them and didn't think these were good clothes or that would benefit you. But enough of that, let's jump on over to our last point, and that is talking about your home studio. If you're like a lot of filmmakers or content creators and you do YouTube videos as well, you're gonna wanna have a nice little home studio or home setup to film these videos. Now, I've gone through a lot of different setups over the years, and I've gone through some good setups and some pretty bad ones. So the biggest thing that I found that was efficient for me was having a good spot to have everything set up without having to tear it down and put it all away after you're done filming. Now, I know this is not necessarily possible for everybody, but if you do have a little spot in your house, and it could be literally anywhere, it could be your garage, it could be your unfinished basement, it could be a closet, it could be your bedroom, it could be anything. If you do have a little spot that you can leave things up, this will make things so much faster and quicker. Because when you need to film, you'll be able to just go over to that spot, sit down, hit that record button, and you'll be good to go. There were plenty of times where I might have felt a little unmotivated to work on a video, and the thought of having to unpack everything, set it all up, get everything going, that really set me back sometimes and actually did stop me from making videos. So now when everything is just all set up here, there's no excuse. I can't use that as an excuse not to go and film a video. And when I didn't have everything just set up, ready to go, it took me anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes to just set up. So that's how long it would take to set up, as well as then take everything down and put it all away again. So that's quite a bit of time out of your day for just setup and teardown to make YouTube videos. So if you can have a spot like this where everything's just set up, that is a huge, easy way to maximize your efficiency there as well. All right, guys, well, that is it. This has actually turned into a much longer video than I originally thought it would be, but I really did want to share all these tips for you to help maximize your efficiency as a solo filmmaker. Like I said before, I spent a lot of time experimenting and trying different things out, and I've gone through a lot of times where things didn't work out, and I did waste a ton of time. And efficiency is the key to being successful in whatever you're doing. I always say this, work smarter, not harder. So I hope you take something good away from this video here today, and hopefully it helps you make some good positive changes to make you more efficient. If you've made it this far in this video, let me know in the comments down below what you do to help maximize your efficiency as a solo filmmaker or a content creator. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. See ya.